I don't think it's a secret that we as humans typically enjoy a little bit of violence, at least watching it. From gladiators to boxers and MMA fighters to fictional scenes acted out by actors, or even not real drawn out characters on a screen. And over the years of our existence, many real and fictional battles have served as impactful entertainment for many. But some of these battles have a special element to them, a certain swag, if you will. So today we're talking the coldest fights in fiction. Now before I get into the list, if it isn't obvious, I can't include every badass fight scene to exist, and there's going to be a lot of fight scenes that some of you hope to see here, but today's criteria is based off swag, vibes, badassery, and buttery smoothness. So here are some of the coldest fights in fiction, in my opinion. Now first up, we gotta throw in one of the greatest fights to ever bless the screens of the MCU, before the MCU became complete hot dog water. I'd like to give a quick moment of silence for the OGs. But for our first entry, we got our boy Tony taking on Cap and Bucky in Captain America Civil War. Now for those of you who haven't seen it or need a refresher, our boy Tony here just found out that Bucky packed his parents. Not only found out, but actually watched him do it on video. So reasonably, he's trying to put Bucky in a blow. But of course Cap has to ride out for his winter boyfriend, so he's here trying to tell Tony, oh come on bro, it wasn't even that bad for real. I mean, they're already old bro, it's not that serious. So then Tony hits Cap with the breezy special and backhands his ass across the room and then immediately gets to hunting down Bucky. But of course Cap pops back up, so Tony trucks his ass real quick and zip ties his ankles so he can get back to trying to put Bucky in the air. And he almost blows his whole face off too, but Bucky manages to move his arm out the way before he got turned into beef brisket. Then all the shit in the building starts collapsing and yada yada yada, and now Bucky's trying to escape out the hatch at the top of the building. Then Tony's like, nah, you're not going nowhere. But of course Captain Meat Rider is back talking about some who gives a shit bro, it's just your parents. And Tony does not give a fuck about what Cap's trying to say to him right now, and he just goes to fly right past him. But then Cap grabs onto his ankle and smashes one of his feet booster rocket things with his shield. Now this is where the first real glimpse of Tony's badassery shines through, because he's chasing Bucky and Cap keeps popping up like a fucking mosquito. And remember, Cap knocked out Tony's foot rocket, so to balance himself out so he could fly straight, he hits the right foot left foot cha-cha real smooth jets combo and just keeps going. And then Cap knocks his ass down again so his husband can keep trying to escape. And then Tony's like, you know what, fuck that, you're not leaving, and goes to shoot down the big ass lid on the building to make it close so Bucky can't get out. But his Tesla software in his suit is all fucked up, so just like me when my scale's broken, he just took his mask off and eyeballed that bitch, and blow, hole in one, slammed all hopes of escaping right in Bucky's face. But yeah, they keep going back and forth until they end up in this little room section of the building right here, and this is where Tony shows us he's really like that. Now Cap over here continues to try telling Tony he shouldn't be taking this shit so serious, and Tony hit him with a simple but real ass fucking bar.
I don't care. He killed my mom.
Stupid. So Tony starts going back at it with Captain Ballslicker over here and hits him with a booster pack backflip and starts just putting hands on him. But of course, like boyfriend, Bucky pops back up just in time to save his marriage. And that's when we get one of the coldest sequences in fictional fighting history. And that's when the shit really hits you. These two bozos ain't shit, bro. They really got a 2v1 my boy Tony just to look like they got a chance. Now, long story short, Tony rips Bucky's arm off, and then he gets back into it with Cap, and Cap starts throwing hands, I'm not gonna lie. He low-key starts beating Tony's ass a little. But then Tony's like, you know what, fuck all that. Hey Siri, show me how to beat his ass. And he flips the script and starts laying out Cap like he's trying to let the clothes dry. But of course, the couple of the year prevails yet again, because Bucky hits Tony from the back.
You're gay! He's gay!
And then Cap fucks up the arc reactor in his suit, and it like shuts down or whatever. But let's be real, bro. There's only one reason Tony lost this fight, and you know what that reason is. The title of the movie. Yeah, that's right. If this movie was called Avengers Civil War and not Captain America Civil War, the Rogers family over here would have been getting rolled up and sparked up, okay? Let's be real. But regardless, this is one of the swaggiest and coldest fight scene displays there is. Now, next up on our list of badass fight scenes, we got an anime fight. Now, I know there's a plethora of badass anime fights out there. In fact, the anime I'm about to mention has plenty. With that being said, I didn't want to make this an anime-only video. I also just didn't want to make this video like 20 million hours long, because anime fights alone would take up an insane amount of time. And then there's live-action fights. I mean, you got John Wick, The Equalizer, all of Kung Fu Hustle. There's just way too much. But with that being said, next up, we got Kakashi versus Obito. Now, I know there's fights like Naruto versus Sasuke and Lee versus Gaara and yada yada yada, but the buttery smooth swag that is Kakashi versus Obito may never be seen again in our lifetimes. Now, this fight has such a similar vibe to the Cap and Tony fight, which is why I had to put them both in this video, but just the raw emotion you can feel with almost no dialogue at all, and the buttery smooth movements, they're just really some masterpieces. Now, there's almost nothing I can even really say for this fight, because it really just speaks for itself. Obito and Kakashi out here communicating fluently and throwing hands, just bouncing back and forth with the sparring flashbacks from their childhood, not speaking a word and just getting to work. I mean, the hand-to-hand combat in this shit is just superb, splendid, bum scrum diddly umptious. This shit is just fire, bro. Obito hits Kakashi with a little patty cake fireball jutsu, and then Kakashi drops the mud wall on him. Man, this shit is just so clean, bro. This shit could make me cry. But then they keep hitting us with the flashback scenes, and Obito goes to grab Kakashi's hand to let him help him up. But then the right now Obito is like, fuck that little bro, we choosing violence today. And boom, they trade blows, and Kakashi got his whole lightning blade hand going through Obito's chest like he's looking for an arc reactor. I mean, this fight was just in a tier of its own of cold and badass. This fight is like when you make a smoothie and get the perfect balance of every ingredient on your first try. Just beautiful for real. But yeah, moving on to our next entry. This one isn't necessarily a fight the way the last two were, but this one is definitely more menacing than the last two as well. But next up, we got when this absolute demon broke out of prison. Tai fucking Lung was a top tier savage, bro. So it all started when Master Oogway elected Tits to be the Dragon Warrior, which is what Tai Lung always wanted to be. So he was like, fuck that, let me meet this guy who got the job opening that I applied for first. Now the messenger duck pulls up on Master Shifu's behalf with a note talking about double the guards, and your prison may not be adequate to lock down this beat up black Air Force One personified. And now the prison warden, this Rhino, is all pissed off, like, what do you mean double the guards, bro? We holding it down. This asshole's not getting out till he dies. And he takes the messenger duck on a little tour, and he's showing him how secure the prison is and shit, and you're there watching like, oh, okay, this looks pretty secure to me. I don't see how anyone's getting out of that. And bro just keeps flexing his prison, talking about it's one way in and one way out, and it's 1,000 guards and one prisoner. What the fuck is he gonna do? And the little duck dude still isn't impressed. In fact, he's shivering his timbers the entire time. Now the boss man takes the duck down a fucking mineshaft elevator to the bottom to get up close and personal with Tai Lung. I mean, he's got crossbows aimed at him at the bottom of a pit with his arms chained up and this shell thing clamped down on his back to keep him from moving. But that's when this absolute stupid, brain smoother than a naked mole rat, IQ of a walnut, dumbass idiot, stupid idiot, decides to start fucking with Tai Lung. Talking about they got this fat dude working at your old job, or should I say no job, because you never got the job, haha, bum ass bitch, then steps on his toe. And well, if it wasn't obvious, this was a mistake beyond mistakes. Because the second you see those glowing orange eyes open in the darkness of that pit, you know shit's about to get real. So then Tai Lung uses his tail to pick up a feather that fell off an old duck boy a minute ago, and somehow uses the same feather to unlock his restraints. Yeah, that's it. Everybody in this building is cooked now. You feel good about all that flexing you just did, Mr. Rhino? Because you're dead now. Congratulations. Now, what comes next is some of the coldest shit ever presented to us in animated form. Now, everybody has caught on to the fact that Tai Lung got his restraints off, minus the chains on his wrist. So then the warden turns to the guards like, hey, kill this bitch, bro. So they start shooting crossbows at him. But these aren't just regular arrow crossbows. They fire spears at him. Now, of course, Tai Lung, being the absolute demon he is, just hits him with that ultra instinct shimmy, and one of the spears cuts his shackle off. And well, it doesn't get any better from here. So now they try bringing the lift back up so Tai Lung can't climb out of the hole. But who needs a lift when you can just karate kick a bunch of spears into a wall? So now Tai Lung is fucking parkouring up the side of this pit, jumping off spear handles, and the warden's like, fuck that, let it rain on him. So now these archers are sending like 1,000 fucking arrows down at him, and this demon just grabs onto the bottom of the lift and uses it as a shield. But luckily for our heroes over here, one of the guards thinks quick and cuts the chain to the lift, dropping it back down into the pit. But not quick enough, because Tai Lung's ass is already up there with him. Then he grabs the broken chain, swings himself around, and launches himself up to the top, where he proceeds to open his own clothing line with his signature merch and goes on to hand out 1,000 t-shirts because he was packing everybody. So now Tai Lung is at the top floor with all the guards at the exit, and he gets into a little stare down. And the warden is still like, nah, he's not getting out this bitch. And gets the archers to shoot up into the ceiling and knock out this TNT that they had strapped up there. So then the ceiling caves in and breaks the bridge that Tai Lung has to cross to get to the exit. So he tries to make the jump, but he actually misses. But of course, this little slip up is not stopping our boy from meeting the Dragon Warrior. So he proceeds to parkour his way up falling cave rocks, where he then grabs lit TNT and throws it down on top of all the guards. Now, I hate to be that guy, but this is supposed to be a family-friendly movie, and well, a lot of people died in this scene, bro. As you witness here in the background, as they all fall to their deaths off of this cold and dark mountain. But yeah, again, not much dialogue in this scene, but a whole lot of silky smooth action. Even though it's not a typical one-on-one fight, I'd argue it's even crazier, because bro just bodied 1,000 rhinos dolo. But yeah, that leads us to our last entry on today's list that comes from an unexpected place, because our last entry takes place in the adult cartoon world of Family Guy. Now hold on, just hear me out. I know it's crazy saying one of the coldest fight sequences in fiction came from Family Guy of all places, but honestly, after I saw that first Peter and the chicken fight, I realized not everything was a joke on this show. But the fight I'm talking about today doesn't actually involve Peter Griffin or the chicken, but it does involve some of the other Griffins. Because today's last entry is Meg and Chris absolutely massacring the entire school. For those of you who missed out, this scene happens after Brian, the Griffin family dog, drops some cancel culture inducing tweets and gets the whole Griffin family shunned by society. So everywhere they go, everyone is just straight hate. And finally, one day, Meg and Chris walk into the school cafeteria to eat lunch, and everybody's crowding them, telling them they gotta go somewhere else because no one rocks with them and no one likes jokes now. And Meg's like, damn, Chris, maybe we should just go. And then Chris is like, no, fuck that. We're eating right here. And that's when this guy walks up and makes the biggest mistake of everyone's lives in that entire cafeteria. And now the whole cafeteria is straight jumping Meg and Chris, and they give no fucks whatsoever, just ragdolling the fuck out of every and anybody. Just the way this scene goes from 0 to 100 is so funny, yet at the same time so fucking cold. I mean, like colder than Frosty's nutsack cold. I mean, like colder than Jack's dead-ass body after he got finessed by Rose the scam artist cold. I mean, like colder than Mr. Freeze's nips cold. Okay, but seriously, this whole scene was clean as hell. I mean, I had no idea the Griffins got down like this. And the icing on the cake was this WWE tag team duo finish they pulled off at the end.
It was a joke.
But yeah, these were just a few fictional fights that left their stamp in history. Just the pure aura off these moments alone is enough to clear a room. Really some of the sauciest hand-throwing exchanges of our time. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite or coolest fight scenes are in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like and a sub and hit that noti bell, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Yeah.